Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Report here on fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. I trust that you are well. Just like yesterday, I'm doing the Morning Report on my way home. I have to work at my other job in the morning, and trying to stay on schedule for our 500th episode. So you're going to get this. And yesterday, or today if you're listening live, most people, the life of a vlogger or someone like me is that most people are not listening now. Most people are listening at some other point. And that's fine. As long as you're listening, I don't really care when you're listening. As long as you're listening. Hang on a second. There you go. So you probably already heard that Ketanji Brown Jackson has been confirmed and will be on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Yes. Now, the sad part was that was never in question. Now, I know a lot of people were like, she shouldn't do that. She doesn't know what she can't even describe what a woman is, and blah, blah, and all this stuff. That isn't necessarily untrue. And it isn't that it is not troublesome. It is completely troublesome. Seeing that she's a fairly young person, a young person to be on the Supreme Court. So we'll be dealing with her and her leftist Marxist viewpoints for some time to come. I mentioned to you before, and I mentioned to some good folk today, that if there is one scintilla of okayness about any of this, is that Mittens Romney, that piece of crap, and the other two pieces of crap, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, went ahead and voted for confirmation. Now, here's what that did. Now, I know this is a fairly unpopular thing, so we almost have them to thank. If all the Republicans would have just said no, it would have been a tie. And do you know who waddles her fat ass into the Senate chamber to break the tie? Kamala Harris. And here's the problem with that. The real problem with that is that it is the history and it is the drama of that history that we would spend years trying to overcome. The first black female vice president breaks the tie to make the first black woman a Supreme Court justice. Every Republican said no. Republicans hate black women. You feel me? You see how that narrative plays out? Now they're still going to use that narrative. I don't sit there and go, well, they're going to say that anyway. Yes. But what they can't say in the viewpoint of history is every Republican voted no. No, they can't say that. Because that's not true. They may say every conservative voted no. They may say that. But then you're going to have to start parsing words, and that takes the punch out of the hyperbole. So if we got anything to thank Murkowski, Collins, and Mittens Romney for, is that bit of drama, that bit of history, that bit of whatever was averted. Thank God. And because if you're a conservative, especially a black conservative who lives in a black in the black community, golly, to have to deal with that for the next 20 years is just too much. Because let me help you, none of the accomplishments of conservative Republicans as it pertains to black people in America would have matched the drama. They are every bit as historic, but they would not have matched the drama and the tears and the oh my God, I found myself in that moment. Oh my God, oh Lord, and it would have been that, and it would have been that, and you know damn well it would have been. It had been milked for everything. Although it doesn't matter, that what we know is that Kamala Harris doesn't stand for anything. Zero. That Democrats didn't even want her in the race. She was selected to be in the race by the Biden administration. Why? So hopefully they can win. They can sort of win the votes of black women. That's why Kamala Harris is there, for no other reason. She failed in her own run for president. Democrats don't want her. Yeah, she's the first black vice president. She's the first female black vice president for sure. She got in on the coattails of the old white man. I know. Now the question really is, I think this is super important. The question is, what now? The bad thing is that we have this leftist Marxist person on the Supreme Court, ready to take over the second that Justice Breyer retires. He will probably be retiring soon, right? And I'm guessing that's how that's going to work. So there's not going to be any lag time between Breyer's retirement and the swearing and the official swearing in of Justice Brown Jackson. So I don't believe there's going to be, and you guys will have to check me. Send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com. There's not going to be any time where there's going to be 10 justices on the court. But I imagine that now it would just make sense that Brown Jackson had access to some of these cases and were reading these briefs of the things that are coming up, that she would get the chance to make a decision on. That only makes sense. So my guess is that she'll be locked and loaded and ready with the leftist Marxist BS. As soon as they're ready for her to go. And I'm sure people are calling up Stephen Breyer and saying, "Isn't it time for you to go? You want me to call your car for you, sir? Want me to schedule a vacation for you, sir? Your grandchildren are waiting outside, sir. We need you to go to Disney World and support Disney World and support Disney." So Justice Breyers, you spent years in the Supreme Court, and now you're retiring. What's your next step? We're going to Disney World. That's yeah, because that's what the Marxist leftists do. Those are the causes that they support. You have to, and we have to keep. One of the things that we have to do is that we have to keep perspective. Brown Jackson isn't replacing an Anton Scalia or a Clarence Thomas. Brown Jackson is replacing Stephen Breyer, a liberal justice, a Marxist liberal justice. So the balance of the court will, at least for the meantime, will remain the same. And again, the thing to do is to pray like you've never prayed before, to intercede for the health of someone like Clarence Thomas. John Roberts, we cannot depend on. We know that as a conservative justice. And we were warned about both of the Trump appointees. We were warned about them. We were warned about Kavanaugh, and we were warned about that chick. We were warned about both of them. They have sided with the other side more than once. So again, what do you do? This always comes down to what you do where you are. It always comes down to what you do where you are. What's your level of participation where you are? Who are you putting in office where you are? What kind of character do those people have? How involved are you in those campaigns? How involved are you in the get out to vote? What are you doing? Well, Willie, why is that important? Because if you took your civics class, what you'll understand is how the Supreme Court has been viewed in recent history is incorrect. I will be getting with our friend KrisAnne Hall, and I'm sure that she will back me up on this. Our view of what the role of the Supreme Court is incorrect. And the court has been in error, and we've been taking those decisions in error for a long time. So what we need to do is make sure that we can get the court back, hopefully, in a way that it is an originalist court, and we start taking how the Supreme Court rules and changing that whole thing back to the original intent of the founders. But we have to put people in office all the way up at the line. We often do. We do the same thing over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. And I've gotten caught up in it to my detriment a couple of times. I've promised my wife and my family never again. No, never again. The story is that I ran for county commission, and both times I ran, they were in presidential election years. Mistake number one. But I didn't have any choice because the district that I wanted to run in was the district I live in. Both the times that I ran, the office was open in presidential elections. Both times I thought, and I think correctly, I have to start incredibly early, like a year and a half before, So I went ahead and filed. I announced my campaign, and I began to either get petitions and or raise money to campaign with. Now, it's tough when you are a normal person like myself. I know some of you don't think I'm normal. And some of y'all think higher of me than I really am, and I appreciate that. There are people out there who think lower of me than what I really am, and I don't really care what you think. But I am not. I don't have any problem saying I'm not independently wealthy. So the only way that I was going to have a decent campaign is that I had two things: campaign donations and volunteers. And both times, I had neither. Neither time was I able to raise over $2,000. Neither time was I was able to raise over $2,000. Either time. And when you say it like that, you go, $2,000? Dang, that's nothing. Yeah, kind of. It's a lot if you don't have it. If you need $6,000 to qualify for a race, and you start, and you've been campaigning for almost 3 years, and you can't raise $3,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. What's obvious is that the people in my area did not believe that I would do a good job in the office. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. But it isn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was also, I was running in a district that a majority of the Republicans didn't give a damn about. I was running in the black district, where they don't live. That's been run by Democrats forever. And they didn't think I had a chance to win anyway. So why bother? So why waste the resources? So I tilted against that windmill twice. Never again. And unfortunately, my county is still reaping the horror of one-party rule on the city council, which I will never run for. Good Lord, what a cluster! You know what that is. And the county commission that used to be 4 of the 7 seats, 4-3 Republican, but are now 5-2 Democrat. 5-2. Wow. Hillsborough County, where I live, is damn near one-party rule. Our mayoral election is supposedly nonpartisan. Oh, sorry. Yeah, nonpartisan. But it isn't it's not non-ideological. If it was non-ideological, that would be weird. But it isn't. The ideology of the mayor is left, which is interesting because she was a police chief. But it's definitely left. So much in fact that she's invited the Michael Bloomberg's folks, consultants in to consult on city issues. They said they'd do it for free. Now, what you know, because you're a grown-up, ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free. You know that, and I know that. So there is definitely an ideological slant. Even if you can't nail it down to R versus D, or blue versus red, it is left versus right. And where I live, in public office, the left has won. And it didn't have to be that way, except that Republicans, who hopefully were trying to represent the right, were, a lot of words come to mind, but they missed it. However they missed it, whether they were misled, whether they were lazy, whether they were fearful, whatever word you want to, that you want to insert there, they missed it. They missed opportunity after opportunity. In our congressional district, we had a black Republican run a number of times, completely non-supported by the state party, by the national party, that sort of left my district where I live to the wolves. So Kathy Castor, one of the most liberal and strongest leftists in Congress, because she's in one of the safest districts in the country, runs roughshod over everything. And basically because she will not be challenged by Republicans. Because on paper, and reality to a degree, seems unchallengeable. So they won't even try. So the down ticket from there, county commission, city council, school board, all leftists. All leftists run. The county commission is getting ready to put a penny sales tax for transportation back on the ballot for November. The last time they did that, it was found to be unconstitutional how they did it, and they had to repeal it. In less than 2 years, they're back at it again. Why? Because that's how people on the left behave. No, they don't. They don't have any respect for their constituents or anybody else. They want what they want. They have their views about urban and suburban and rural. Urban wins every time. Suburban finances it. And screw the rural people. Screw the rednecks. The country bumpkins. The non-elites. As happening in the big and mid-sized cities. Tampa's a mid-sized city that are run by the left, run by Democrats. So all this rant to say it's time to get your hands dirty. Make sure that we can put people in the office, in the lower offices, that move up to these higher offices. Because a lot of times we get caught up in the glamour and the glitz and the hoopla of a presidential campaign, and we ignore everything else. And we ignore everything else. And it should not be that way. You must first build a base before you're going to put people on top of it. So now, and I can prove it. Ready? So if not Donald Trump, who? Seriously. If not Donald Trump, who? Who? No, you've done everything you can to destroy people like Marco Rubio, right? And the left loves it because they hate Rubio too. Although all Marco Rubio did was support the president for 4 years, by the way. People who are incorrect, simply incorrect, about what Mike Pence could do, turned you against Michael Pence. And now you're too emotional to think your way out of that paper bag. So Pence is off the list now too. And all Pence did for 4 years was support the president. He couldn't break the law to support the president. But all he did was for 4 years was support the president. That's all he did. So if not Trump, who? You haven't built a ground game or a list of candidates because you've not been working on them for the past 4 years. It's been Trump or nobody. And that puts us in an incredibly tenuous, dangerous, frightening position. Doesn't it? The next president is going to replace another Supreme Court justice. And the next person leaving is going, by retirement, is going to be Clarence Thomas. Who's going to replace Clarence Thomas? Who? Kamala Harris? Michelle Obama? Barack Obama? Joe Biden? Who? If not Trump, who? Do you trust Marco Rubio more than Kamala Harris? Well, hell yeah. Do you trust Mike Pence more than Michelle Obama? Or Barack Obama? Or Joe Biden? Well, hell yeah. You've missed the mark. You've missed the mark. And I know a lot of you are grousing and complaining and saying the end of the world and doing all this stuff because Ketanji Brown Jackson is going to be a Supreme Court justice. We told you that going in. It was easy. What's going to be your reaction to it? That matters more than anything. That matters more than everything. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been The Morning Report, a production of FightBackMedia.com. FightBackMedia.com, FightBackMedia.com, and FightBackMediaTV.com. We're going to have our 500th episode in a couple of weeks, and the only way that you'll be able to call in is that if you join the family. How do you join the family? Go to FightBackMedia.com, go up to more, pull down the contact information, and put your information in, your name and your email address, because that's the only way that you get the call-in number. I will not announce the call-in number, even during the show. I will not publish it on the Facebook page or the Instagram page, anywhere. The only way that you'll be able to get it is that you become part of the family and that you join our email list. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you.